Hello, folks. Hey, it is Tim here, and it's Sunday, July 17th, 2022. And so today is a brief introduction of, in the parenting series of part two of four. And I'm thinking about doing a part five here to wrap things up. But for today, too, is to introduce the whole idea of the developmental perspective or idea. And so it's very simple. This is not rocket science, but it's, I think, very useful as a parent to kind of understand what's going on. So the developmental perspective is simply broken down into 7 year periods, give or take a few years, but seven is an easy number. So it's 0 to 7, 7 or 7 to 14, 14 to 21, and 21 to 28. So it's useful for parents to think about the challenges and the task and the goals for each 7 year period. And when you kind of have an idea of what's going on for each 7 years, then you will be able to recognize opportunities to teach them and help them along in their learning process of their developmental task and what the challenges and goals are. And what that ultimately gives you is a way to then develop your own strategy of what do you want to teach your child during these 7 year periods. And when you have that little piece of knowledge of the tasks, the challenges, the goals, and then you have your perhaps a pretty loose strategy, it gives you the ability to kind of not have to worry about things. You kind of know where you're going and what your child's going through. And it's nothing to be stressed about. And it takes, I think, a lot of pressure off when you have that perspective. And so then it becomes, I think, at least for me, a lot more fun. You're not worried about, am I doing this right or wrong? Of course, we all make mistakes, and that's part of the learning process. But you then, for yourself and your child, you turn that into, hey, here's how to negotiate this. Here's how to ultimately develop a sense of accomplishment for both you and your child, and a sense of resilience, and ultimately I think really are able to maintain a really healthy and respectful relationship that has a lot of integrity and compassion and gracefulness to it. And I believe, at least from my fatherly experience, I think I generally have that with my three kids. And anyway, in my mental health experience, and then in my education, and then experience of actually raising three kids, I think I noted this before, but it's worth saying again. I was terrified as a new father, going, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? I don't want my kids to turn out how I did. And as a child and as a teenager and stuff. So that's what this series is about. So this week, the blog post is really about the first 7 years, and it's been my experience, and I think other people, researchers, folks that have written about personality and learning theory and all that kind of stuff, go and look up some of this stuff or whatever. part of this whole endeavor is I don't want to be constrictive or what do you call that? Prescriptive about what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just kind of saying this is the ballpark we're playing in. How you play the game, how you develop the game, that's up to you. And so I think that's a more healthy way. You get your input. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, hey, these are some things to consider in your experience of life. So, gosh, where was I going with that? I know. So I think really the first 7 years, a lot of people say the first 10 years is where a child really gets their core sense of themselves and their experience and how they will generally proceed through life. And I have seen that both personally and professionally, that it seems to be a very true concept. So the lion's work, I believe, and effort really needs to be spent as a parent in the first 7 years, 10 years of a child's life. And after they get into the 7 to 14 years, they're really a lot more on their own, so to speak. Certainly not they're not adults or anything like that. But and we'll get into the later developmental 7 year periods. But the first 7 years, man, if you put in the time, the effort, and you kind of have a good idea of what this is, you can really set your children up for, I think, a very positive, healthy, and well lifestyle, life experience. And it will carry them through their life. And ultimately, you're setting a precedence. Whether your childhood experience was good, bad, or ugly, you have the opportunity to really influence their lives, and at least I'd say 2, 3 generations from your child raising, because they will experience, I think, a better life, a better outlook, have better skills and strategy, and thus they will pass that on. Because ultimately, parenting, we kind of tend to parent how we were raised, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing, or ugly thing. And the kind of goal and purpose for my intent is to give you the opportunities to change that if you'd like, to establish a new precedence for you, your family, and your family's future generations. So I think it's a huge opportunity, and there you go. So check out the blog post that I'll be putting up here in a few minutes, and have a wonderful summer. This is a great time. Kids still learn whether they're in school or not, whether it's summer or not. In fact, we had some good friends over, and they have I think a 5-year-old and 2-year-old, and man, I'll be talking about some of that in the blog post, so I don't want to spoil that for you. But one of the little guy, he's 2 years old. He had sticky hands and fingers, and he wanted them cleaned, and so I kind of provided him a different opportunity besides, doing all the things of getting belly up to the sink and soap and washing your hands, and said, hey, you can do this for yourself. And he did it, and he seemingly had a good experience, because he whenever he was eating cherries, and so his hands would get all sticky, and he didn't like that. So he would trot out to the backyard and wash his hands and come back in and eat more cherries. So it's some very simple things, and I think a wonderful thing for kids to learn that they have some agency, some control, and they learn how to do something, and you can see it. They're excited. So have a great week and a great rest of your summer. Next week, the blog post will be addressing from 7 to 14. So there you go. Thanks. Bye.